And now it's time for Guerilla Roundup. They'll let you know what happened overnight when things transpire you whilst you sleep. Right there in the loop you keep.
Welcome to the Guerilla Roundup for day 3 of the 5th Ashes Test from the Oval. I'm delighted to be joined by the one and only Grubby. Welcome, Grubby.
Thanks, Messrs. Thanks for having me. Yeah, fresh out of the com box, straight into the after hours extra. I'll be punching my clock later and expecting my overtime in my pay packet.
Well, your expectations may be disappointed. Before we get into the scorecard and the summary of today's play, you might just hit us with the breaking news that we've just had.
Yeah, as many people will know by the time you listen to this, I guess Stuart Broad has just announced his retirement from all cricket. I I just caught a little bit of the interview he was doing with the Sky team there, and he was saying he wanted his last bat and bowl in international cricket to be Ashes in an Ashes game, and obviously this is the last one for a little while. He is 37 years old, and that is, as we were just saying before, that is a really good age to get to in your career as a fast bowler. Jimmy Anderson, quite another kettle of fish, obviously, being 41, very much an outlier. But so there you go, everyone. Stuart Broad, 37, will retire after tomorrow's play. And as you just said there, Messrs, imagine the roar, the Oval roar that he and Jimmy will get when they walk out to bat together, the two old muckers, and then later in the day when they're running into bowl. It's going to be a wild day at the Oval, I think.
It'll be fantastic.
For any number of reasons. So there you go. Yeah, breaking news. Stuart Broad will be retiring.
600 wickets at an average of 27.68, an economy rate of 2.97, and who knows how many more to add tomorrow. And batting, he has scored 3,647 runs at an average of 18 and a strike rate of 65. Not too bloody bad, really, when you look at it.
He's a hell of a cricketer, a hell of a competitor. Those legendary spells that he bowled for England, one thinks back to 2009, they were showing that earlier on at the Oval. He rates his best ever spell as the one he bowled in South Africa, where it was a sixer in one of the series where we won a close series over there. But he was always in the nicest possible way, a sort of streaky bowler where he would really get on a roll and get under the opposition's skin and get the ball talking. And yeah, no slouch with the bat, certainly in the first half of his career. Scored that 160 odd at the Oval or Lords, was that against Pakistan? Yeah, just a hell of a cricketer. The World Cup winner as well, of course, in the T20 in 2012, part of that side.
And a character and a half. I mean,
yeah,
it just makes everybody laugh.
and 150 Ashes wickets as well. It's the most ever by an England bowler. So an extraordinary character. We'll definitely miss him, but no doubt he'll be slipping straight into that Sky commentary box. He's very good. He speaks incredibly well, I think, and sensibly about the game and analytically. So he'll be an asset to the media after that. Right. So that's that.
Okay. Well, let's
talk about as well.
Come back to what happened today. So we started today. England were trailing by 12 runs on the first innings, and the England innings looked like this. Zach Crawley made 73. Ben Duckett made 42. Ben Stokes made 42, coming in at number 3. Joe Root, 91. Harry Brook made 7. Johnny Bairstow, 78. Moeen Ali made 29, coming in at number 7. Chris Wokes was out for 1. Mark Wood for 1. Stuart Broad is 2 not out. Jimmy Anderson is 8 not out. There were 7 extras. So England are 389 for 9. That's a lead of 377 with 2 days left to play. Maybe some rain around tea time tomorrow, but a hell of a long way to go in this game. The bowling, Mitchell Starc, 4 for 94. Hazelwood, 1 for 67. Cummins, 1 for 79. Mitchell Marsh, none for 35. And Todd Murphy, 3 for 110 from 22 overs. So that's where we stand at the end of the day. Do you want to talk us through the day a bit, Grubby?
Yeah, well, that lead of 12 that you mentioned was expunged pretty quickly in the space of 1 over, as England scored 13 off the first over they faced in a kind of a repeat of the start of the whole series where Crawley drove Cummins for 4 from the first ball at Edgbaston. I think he did the same to Starc today. So that really sets the tone, I suppose. Duckett and Crawley not for the first time this series, have really shared an excellent partnership. Duckett in particular, looking pretty good early on. But once again, he got a 40 for the second time in the match, and then it was just given out via a faint little tickle behind that even the bowler Mitchell Starc wasn't convinced about. But he was convinced by the rest of his teammates to review it, and lucky for him, he did. He did, because that got Duckett. Stokes played nicely for his 42. Root's 91. Root, I thought, looked very scratchy and almost like he was out of nick early doors. Now, I think we judge him by very high standards,
Yes,
rightly
yes.
so. He averages 50 in Test match cricket. He's our best batsman, one of the best we've ever had. But for him, he looked a little bit out of sorts, and a little bit edgy, a little bit scratchy. But he sort of dug in, and he got the ramp and the scoop out later on in the innings, got his way to 91. When he got to 90, I said to Tony in here, he's definitely getting his 100. No one can curse it. He's invincible. And then he got out 2 balls later on from a ball that turned from Murphy, but
Yes,
also kept very low. For the second time in 2 Test matches, Root got one from, was it Hazelwood, I think, in the previous Test match, that just sort of rolled along the ground at about 88 miles an hour. This one, obviously, yeah, and this one wasn't actually much better as far as the batsman's concerned. From the spinner, did keep very low, so he can feel a little bit aggrieved there. But he played a great knock for his side. And hey, who needs centuries these days?
Yeah,
Doesn't matter. Everyone's chipping in. Everyone's chipping in. Harry Brook came in and hit a 6 and went off again quite quickly. Hazelwood sort of that was a really good piece of bowling, actually, to get Brook early in his innings, probing that sort of 4th, 5th stump line to him, and sure enough, got him nicked off behind. Carey kept well again, apart from the drop in the first innings, but he's very neat keeper, I think, Carey. Bairstow played nice and breezily for his 78. Rather gave it away in the end. It seems a bit harsh to say that about a man who scored 78, but he just sort of had started to play a few airy, wafty, lazy-looking shots, and sure enough, one of them resulted in his departing, again caught behind by Carey off Starc this time. Moeen Ali rather heroically came in on just one leg, presumably pumped full of drugs, and scored what could still prove to be a very valuable 29 for his team. I mean, that does affect the way that a batting pair have to play when you've got one player who's so clearly injured. Chris Woakes, on his very first ball, almost, seemed to forget he was batting with someone who couldn't run, and went for a quick single, and then and he would have been run out first ball if Labuschagne had hit the stumps, but didn't. But Woakes, another one guilty of giving it away, really. He got a foolish delivery, and just almost as if, I think someone said, almost as if giving catching practice to Khawaja, who was stationed at mid-off. So from a period, from a position of definite, real strength, I think England were at 1.360 for 5, suddenly found themselves 375 for 8, and then 379 for 9. As Wood had also perished to Murphy. And I think worth talking about Murphy for a short time. I thought he bowled pretty well today. He was always going to be under pressure. He was always going to have the batters coming at him. He's a young spinner, I think only 22 years old. He can only get better, I think. But he's acquitted himself pretty well. I think he showed good character, good discipline in his lines and lengths today. Subtle variation, just dragging his length back sometimes to fool batters who are advancing at him. And he, although he went for 5 and over, that's pretty much par for the course at the moment. And he got three very decent wickets. He had the wickets of Wood, of Root, which we mentioned, and of Stokes. So three good wickets for Murphy there, and props to him. But once again, we saw Mitchell Starc being the leading wicket taker. Strange to think he wasn't picked for the first game of this series, but he's been there ever since and has certainly done the business in terms of wickets for his side. Another 4 today, and then the other wicket takers, Hazelwood and Cummins. So yeah, another fascinating day's play. Messers, England, you'd think on top. The win predictor has England 85% favourites or something.
Well, very much so, since Australia seems to be lacking a middle order since Edgbaston, really. Since Headingley, really. Just to go back to the bowling, Cummins only took 1 wicket. I still think, like the first innings where he only took 1 wicket, he bowled beautifully most of the
He's
time.
looked in great nick. I think he's looked in great rhythm. His pace was up in that first innings, particularly regularly over 90 miles an hour. Not quite up at Mark Wood pace, but 91, 92 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Plenty quick enough. He's an excellent, skillful, fierce bowler. You know, he's fantastic. And yeah, he's looked probably in the best rhythm, which is remarkable when you think he's playing his 6th Test match since the middle of June. You know, in almost in as many weeks, which is a testament to his own constitution, his fitness, his stamina, all those things.
Yeah.
And so I agree, he's been unlucky in both innings, actually. His figures have really borne out how well he's bowled in both those innings. So yeah, 1 for 79 in this innings, and what was it he got in the previous innings?
He had
only
1 for
66.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
both innings, he can count himself quite unlucky.
I don't think that'll worry him too much, because I
No.
think to a large extent, you know, Stark, Hazelwood, and Cummins share wickets because they earn them for one another a lot of the time, a bit like Jimmy and Broad. There was a stage, particularly when Brooke and Root were, when Root and Bairstow were together. When they put on, I think 110 or so for the 5th wicket, when it really looked like Australia was starting to struggle. There was a sense that there was very little threatening in the bowling. The fielding stayed okay, but it wasn't brilliant at that stage. And I thought, well, England are well set for getting 500 plus here and just grinding in Australia into the dirt. Credit, I think, to Australia that they did come back. And it's
sticking in there.
been this way almost the whole series, that as soon as someone is completely on top, things change really quite quickly. And it's what's made it so fascinating, isn't it?
It has been a brilliant series. There's been a bit of chat on our WhatsApp group, isn't there, about I think Josh was making the point that he thought it was the best and closest series that he can remember, and I wouldn't put him too far wrong there. I think it has been terrific entertainment. Both sides must take an enormous amount of credit for the entertainment they've served up between them, and the cricket we've seen and loved every moment of it, really. It's been absolutely terrific. I do think in this game, Australia will be giving those 5 catches a good ruining that they dropped in the first innings.
Absolutely.
I mean, the David Warner one, the Mitchell Marsh one, these are catches that they just do not drop. I talked a bit about missing Cameron Green today. You imagine if Cameron Green had been in that position, he never would have dropped that. He just doesn't drop anything, does he? But look, that's a selectorial decision that was made and whatever. But yeah, 5 catches going down is almost unheard of, because they're a great champion team, champion catches. So that's if the game's gone a bit awry for Australia, I think that's where they might point to it. Sort of gave away probably 100 runs.
I think they also lost the plot a bit yesterday morning when Labuschagne made 9 off 83 or whatever it was. It seemed such a pointless innings. You know,
well,
it's one thing to blunt an attack, but once you get completely stuck in the mud, it seems actually to be counterproductive.
I'm not going to make any comments about anything like the moral ashes or any nonsense like that, because I just think it's rubbish. But what I will say is that the way that England have played throughout this series has continuously forced Australia to do things they don't want to do, or to do things in reaction to what England are doing, as opposed to playing their own game. And we saw that from right at the start of the series, putting men back on the fence, 54 singles in that first session. It was a record, and I think that's carried through. Now I'm projecting massively here, but I reckon at the toss, normally Pat Cummins, regardless of overhead conditions at the Oval, would look to put runs on the board and take the game from there. But he didn't. He chose to bowl, I think, not least because he knew that England wanted to bowl.
No, I disagree with you on that. He's a bowler. Okay. He likes to bowl when the conditions look right. I think he was almost nailed on that he was going to bowl.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, listen, it's maybe me projecting, but all I'm saying is there've been a lot of instances where Australia are doing things in reaction to what England are doing.
Oh, don't disagree with that.
Rather than first and foremost playing their own game. And actually, Marnus's innings yesterday, which was curious, given that he's a batsman in form. He's got off the back of 100 under 50 at Old Trafford. It's not like he's scratching around for runs. He chose to play in an extremely negative fashion, and I was at the ground yesterday, and Nick Lyon, who's on Guerilla sometimes, he was sort of ribbing in a friendly way our Australians sitting near us, sort of going boring every time Marnus left one or forward defensive. But there was a serious point to it, that there wasn't. Why did you feel the need to play that when it's almost as if you sense collectively Australia going, "Oh, fuck this fucking baseball, mate. Here's the anti-baseball. We're going to play fucking proper cricket." Listen, I'm totally. I'm exaggerating to make a point, but it felt like there was a bit of a reaction almost in the way he went about his innings yesterday.
Yeah.
And then the comedy of his dismissal also just added to the whole drama of the thing, with Broad swapping the bails over, classic shithousery, and then Marnus appearing not to be very happy with the light, moaning about that to the umpire on his way back to the pavilion. But just another small little chapter, another example possibly of Australia doing things in reaction to England as opposed to playing their own game.
So one additional thing, Grubby, we don't normally do this, but you were at the Oval yesterday. I'm just wondering if you could just share your impression of what the atmosphere was like there, being in all of that.
Oh, it's terrific. It's actually my first day at the cricket at the Test match, so I'm really pleased to have been able to go to this incredible series and been a part of it, sort of live at the ground. I often go with my mate Phil to watch some days, but I couldn't go with him to Old Trafford. He went to Old Trafford for the first 3 days this year, so I was really sort of missing it. I was really glad I got to go. The atmosphere is terrific. I've heard some reports somewhere of people saying it sounded a bit quiet. It wasn't in the ground quiet. Maybe the acoustics a bit, it doesn't get picked up on TV as much as other places or whatever. But yeah, brilliant. Lots of friendly chats between rival supporters. Lots of beer drunk. Lots of you bump into people. Lots of people I know at the ground, etc. Just a great sort of carnival atmosphere. We were sitting not that far away from that bank of Australian fans who let's go to the cricket and all dress the fucking same. All that lot, love them to death. And lots of byplay between the crowd and the players, pantomime booing, all the rest of it. But most importantly of all, absolutely first class entertainment and world-class sport that you're witnessing. And I have to pick out one moment. The Prosecco moment of yesterday for me was Joe Root's catch to get rid of...
that was the catch of the series, yes.
Yeah.
To get rid of Labuschagne.
To get rid of Labuschagne, of course. Which I would say I was fortunate enough to be in the crowd at Trent Bridge back in 2005, well, for a few of those days, which is incredible, but which included that catch from Andrew Strauss, Flintoff bowling to Gilchrist, caught at Gully, a very famous catch, which I'm sure everyone has seen, diving away to his left. This, I would rank as highly. I think it's jointly the best catches I've seen live at the ground.
It had almost gone past him, hadn't it? It's just amazing.
It flew. Yeah. It flew, and we had quite a good sight because we was on the angle behind square, so we had direct line of sight to Joe Root. We saw the ball off the bat. We knew he'd hit it, and I just couldn't believe it stuck. It was one of those classic moments that people talk about with times that stood still. It was terrific.
Oh, that's brilliant. Thanks for that, Grubby. So that's where we're at today. England are 377 runs ahead with 1 wicket in hand. We've got 2 days to play. Everything to play for. Yeah, clearly in England's favour, but who knows what can happen. Our awards today, the Guerilla of the day is actually John Batham, who was on air direct from a book signing of his book, which he didn't really want to mention until I forced him to. A book on Middlesex, the championship years, and there's a tweet on our timeline if you're interested in getting that. But I think to have another published author on air is always something we should crow about a bit.
Congratulations, John. Yeah, well done.
And our tweeter of the day is Muttley, because what Muttley tweeted today was a page of the calendar that Diamond Head have made, and they posted on Facebook, of the leader of Diamond Head. I've got no idea who he is. This is in November 2023, standing on stage holding Muttley's leg aloft. Because Muttley told us yesterday that his leg often ends up on stage at the gigs he goes to. He chucks it up on the stage, and here he is, the lead singer, holding the leg above him. I think that is fantastic, Matt.
Messrs, what was the date you said there? I thought you said November 2023
Yeah,
which is in the future.
Yeah, it's the calendar. There's a page for November 23 on the calendar.
I thought we'd added time travel to our list of ever-expanding talent.
I see. So I feel very proud of Muttley, and he's always been a fantastic supporter of ours. So that's definitely our tweeter of the day.
Big congratulatory woof from me.
Woof, yeah,
There's a good boy.
Love and sausages. So thank you for being with us. If you enjoyed this, please click the like button below and share it. By all means, leave a comment. If you'd like to support us, please consider going to patreon.com/Guerilla Cricket and contributing through there. And if you're looking for some excellent wine at 15% off, there's a link below to the Ponting wine site. Use the code GCAshes2023 and you'll get the discount come up on your invoice. So that's it today. Thank you for being with us. Anything you want to add today, Grubs?
No, just another tremendous day in what has been one of the best series that there's ever been. I've just enjoyed it enormously, and I've very much enjoyed, for once, being able to spend the whole day in Guerilla Towers.
Excellent, excellent. Well, the advantages you have when your wife goes away.
This is it. How can I miss you if you won't go away? As the song goes.
Exactly. Well, thank you all for being with us. Congratulations to Stuart Broad on an amazing career. And we look forward to his swan song tomorrow, where you can join us from 10 to 11 in the morning. Good night, everybody.
And now it's time for